So this is part 2 on why confidence doesn't stick. And I was talking about the story of Joseph and how Joseph had to do some inner work for his confidence to be revived. Now, it doesn't explicitly state that in the Bible, but the time in between some of the events happening to Joseph and then Joseph getting to where he was on his next assignment. So, for example, he was sold into slavery by his brothers, right? So from the time he was sold into slavery, which of course would shake anyone's confidence, to the time that he was placed in Potiphar's home, that we don't get a timeline on that. It could have been a few days, a couple of weeks, it could have been a couple of months. But apparently, he had to do some inner work to even be able to show up in Potiphar's home, right? And to be able to have that level of success to the point where Potiphar saw Joseph as favored and put him over everything. Now, Potiphar worked for Pharaoh. And so Joseph was over everything in Potiphar's home. And it was Potiphar's wife that lied on Joseph that ended up getting him placed in prison. But before he was placed in prison, apparently Joseph had risen to the occasion of being really good at administrative tasks and getting things done. Because again, he was over everything in Potiphar's house. He goes to prison because Potiphar's wife tells a lie because she couldn't get her way. So she lied on him, right? And, that's messed up. How many of us know a lie is one thing, but a lie that lands someone in prison is a whole total different ball game, right? And so that's messed up, but that's what happened. And so Joseph ended up in prison. Again, Joseph was doing well in prison to the point where the prison guard or the person that was over the prison put Joseph in charge of everything. Again, here's Joseph being placed in charge of everything. And so that speaks a lot to Joseph, but it speaks a lot to his development too. It speaks a lot to how Joseph apparently had to learn how to get past rejection. And that's what I was talking about in my last video. It was actually a live, right? Listen, we've all had those moments where our confidence was tested, where it was shaken, where we weren't sure of ourselves, right? It could be you were prepared for the presentation at work, you had everything all lined up, and you may have presented well, but after the presentation, maybe someone was like, "Oh, yesterday I tried to do a live. Your mic wasn't on. So you did all that talking, all that hard work, and nobody heard you." Right? How many of us know that is a confidence shaker? I did all of that for technology to be the thing to take me out. Or it could be being overlooked for something, right? I talked about how I didn't graduate on time. It shook my confidence. I felt like, oh man, am I going to ever get there? Yeah, I kept living. I kept going. I got a job. I worked for a little while. Eventually, it was one of my mentors that wanted me. She was like, "When are you going to finish school?" And I was like, "When are you going to pay for me to finish school since you asking me all these questions?" And she was like, "I pay for these classes. Go ahead down there to the registrar, ma'am, and call me, and I will get in my credit card number over the phone." And she did. And that's how I ended up getting back in school to finish. But this was like a year and a half after I was supposed to finish. By then, I was working a job, just a regular 9 to 5, going into work. I was feeling a little bit displaced, a little bit disappointed in myself, but I was doing it. I was like, well, I'm just going to work. It's fine, right? I'll get back to the degree when I get back to it. But it shook my confidence for a while. And even when I returned back to school to finish, I still was shaken to my core about not finishing the first time. I was afraid a little bit. I really was. And even when I got to the end of my second semester and was about to graduate, something else popped up at the last minute where I had to come up with $1,200 at the last minute that I owed magically in the registrar's office at the last minute. This shook my confidence again because not me trying to cross the finish line again, only for some craziness to pop up. It was hard, right? And I prayed. I just kept pushing. I raised the money, like I pulled it together, tried to figure out how to get it, asked people for help. That's a confidence shaker. Here I am asking you for help. right? Because I'm trying to finish, so I'm having to ask people for help. It wasn't making me feel good. Like I was down bad, as they say. It wasn't looking good for me. It was looking pretty bad. But I opened my mouth. I got it done. I graduated when I was supposed to this time, crossed that finish line, and I moved on with my life. But it really did take me a while from the time that I was supposed to finish to the time that I actually did was 2 years. Within those 2 years, I had some inner work to do, some development to do. And even when I did it, I would notice years later when it was time for me to complete something, I would get a little anxiety again, right? I would be like, is the thing going to happen again? It happened the last time. Before college, before that happened, I went to basic training. Guess what? I was held back twice. So again, when was time to start finishing things, the thing would come back up. And I would be like, is the thing going to happen again where I don't finish? And it started being scary. I started developing an inner narrative around it. It was real. This wasn't a made up event. These things happen. Now, what I had to do was that inner work to realize just because it happened once or twice doesn't mean that it's going to continue to be my story. And I have to have the courage to keep trying the next thing. But you guys, it takes working on that inner confidence, that foundation of confidence. I'm not just talking about this. This is what I've lived. This is what I had to work my way through. This is what I've had to pull out of my own self. I had to do coaching. I had to do therapy. I had to learn how to do some journaling, right? I had to learn how to rebuild my confidence on a firm foundation. And in order to do that, I had work to do. It didn't come overnight and it wasn't easy, but it was worth it because I knew, hey, I can't continue to dim my light. I can't continue to shrink back. I'm not actually walking in my purpose. If I'm not walking in my purpose, that means I'm not impacting who I was placed on this earth to impact. That means if I'm not walking in my purpose, the people I'm supposed to be impacting, they're missing something. Now, that's not to say someone else can't come along and do that, but that someone isn't me. Back to the fingerprint I talked about in a previous video that I learned from one of my mentors. Your fingerprint, your blueprint is unique. Your fingerprint is what they'll use to trace you. You're in databases. As soon as you're born, they got your fingerprints, they got your little footprint on paper, they got your prints. That means there's something unique about you and what you brought into the world from day one. So that means if you're not walking in your purpose and you're not where you're supposed to be, doing the thing that you're called to do by God, serving where you're supposed to be serving, there's somebody missing. There's a hole there. There's missing influence. There are people who are missing you. They don't even know they're missing you. You have what they need and they don't even know because you have not come into your purpose. You have not stepped into that place. So there's a void and people don't even know how to define the void because you're the void. And I started realizing, hey, if I continue to shrink, if I continue not to cultivate this inner light, if I continue to allow my confidence to get broken and shaken and beaten to the point that I don't show up, then somebody that I'm supposed to tell to show up, they're also not showing up. Someone who I show up and they see, oh man, she's showing up even after all that rejection, even after not finishing stuff on time, even after being held back a few times, even after filling the blank. Man, if she can show up, maybe I can give it a try. And that's how this works. You are here to influence. I'm here to influence. We are here to inspire. Some of us are here to speak life into people. You need to get where you're supposed to be. And if your confidence is the thing that needs to be healed, needs to be repaired, needs to be reframed for you to do that, if you need to fix the cracks in your confidence foundation, then you should definitely check out what I've created, Flourish Forward. This is a coaching program, and it is specifically for people who know they are dimming their light. They know they're not living their full potential. I talked a lot about how the clues to who we are right there in front of our face. And what I started realizing not too long ago is what keeps us from seeing it is some of the past hurt. It's like a lens that starts being over our eyes, and it keeps us from seeing who we truly are. And I had to do a deep dive on this. Excuse me. I started studying the meaning of my name. Never been a fan of my name. Felt like I wanted a cooler name, right? My name is Kimberly, my full name. And I had to start doing some research on it. That's what I was led to do by God. So I started digging into it. And it turns out my name, it has a lot of meaning and a lot of clues to what I'm even doing right now, right? In this video. Let me sip some water. Been talking all day. Keep this water handy. It holds a lot of clues. It holds all the clues. It holds keys to what I'm doing even now. My name means of the royal meadow, right? Meadows, places where flowers grow. Meadows are they can be nice. So royal meadow, that kind of evokes a nice meadow that's kind of manicured. But a meadow is a place of wildness. It's untamed. It's a place where different plants grow. It's a place where different like animals and species and bugs and different things come to get the nourishment they need. It's a place of nourishment, right? A lot of places that are meadows now are protected because the ecosystems have been so impacted on the earth that they've had to have these, protected meadows where these flowers and these different like insects and bugs and different things can flourish, right? Usually meadows are near like water, streams, rivers. It's just a whole lot. Again, going back to that fingerprint and back to like what I bring to the table, who I am, and it's true for you too. A lot of who you are is clues are all around you, but you might not see it. You might not see it because you have the lens of past rejections covering your eyes. You're looking at yourself through a lens of being ghosted, of not being chosen, and that's not how you're supposed to be seeing yourself anymore. Yes, those things may have happened. I'm never going to deny that somebody was rejected or looked over or passed over, or that those hurts are not real. But even in admitting that, that's not where you're supposed to stay. And the longer you stay there, the longer you dim your light, the longer you shrink back, the longer you refuse to step into whatever you're called to do, you're leaving a void for somebody who needs you. And every time I talk about this, I feel this so strongly. So this is the message I'm supposed to keep delivering, because people will hear you say it once, but you might need to hear me say it 50, 11 times before you step up and do it. I'm not going to stop saying it. You are called to step into these spaces because you're called to influence, inspire, impact someone else's life. Somebody needs the gift that you keep hiding from us. The world needs the gift that you keep shielding and hiding. Tell me, I ain't sharing none of my gifts. We need your gift. We need you. We need what you bring to the table. And if what it's going to take to get you to come share your gift is to put your confidence on a more solid foundation, then get with me. That's what my coaching program is all about. It's about solidifying your inner confidence so that it's not shaken. So that even if it tries to be shaken, it's not easily shaken. It doesn't stop you anymore, right? Because we can get on a high, we can start momentum, we can start a thing, and then our confidence can be shaken. A comment can be said, someone from our past, you ain't finished this on time, you didn't do this right, oh, you trying to start another thing. Any of those kind of little comments could shake your faith again in yourself and in your own abilities to do something. That's what needs to be healed. That's what needs to be solidified and fixed, because we need you stumbling and all. We need you imperfect and all to come and offer what your gift is. Somebody is waiting on you to get your confidence solidified so that you can do the thing. They need it from you. A million other people can do it. I said this with my name. I have a common name. A million other people can have this name, but a million other people are not Kimberly with this specific fingerprint. A million other people don't have the royal meadow that I'm building and that I'm nourishing. They can have their own meadow. Their name may be Kimberly, but they're not me. They don't have my unique experiences. They can't speak to the thing like I can. They can speak to it like they can, but not like I can. And whatever it is that makes us unique and that's in our fingerprint is the thing that is needed right now. What makes you unique, that is what's needed. And so I definitely want you to check it out. I'll pin a comment to this video, but I am just here to tell you your confidence can stick. It can be repaired, it can be healed. That narrative can be rewritten, right? And those internal voices can be telling you, oh, no, you got this. Oh, you can do this. Oh, even if you mess up, just keep going. It's fine. It is not the end of the world. And that's where we need you to be so that you can do the thing and deliver to the rest of the world what is needed. It could be thousands, it could be millions of people waiting on you, right? It could be 3 people waiting on you, but those 3 people still need you, right? We need what you have to offer. So definitely, I'm going to pin to the comments. I want you to check it out. Fill out the form if you're interested. I also dropped the links. Go ahead and enroll. We kick off June the 30th, and I'm excited about my Flourish community. I'm excited about those of you who are ready to thrive, and I will see you in the next